B-Mac, when I heard we were having you on the show, I was excited to ask you about this because I bet you had some sort of feelings. Bengals running back Jeremy Hill taking that terrible towel and disrespecting it, huh? How'd you feel about that?
I guess Cincinnati players will never learn because clearly when they do that, first and foremost, it didn't make any sense because that game was in the first half. That game was still in the first half, and for you to have these type of antics going on when you still have a whole half left to play doesn't make any sense. And I was talking with some of the Steelers players after that ball game on Sunday, not revealing any names, but of course they're still in the team. And the main thing that we agreed on was the lack of leadership that team has. You don't have those type of antics early in the first half. First and foremost, we understand it's a towel, but that towel represents what the Steelers are. And it's one thing to be disrespectful, and it's one thing to be competitive. At that time, that didn't make any sense. You celebrated, you saw a towel, you tried to rip a towel. Clearly, that's not going to happen. That's not paper. And then you threw the towel down, and you lose the ball game. Not to mention Jeremy Hill had 44 yards in the first half and a touchdown. He finished the ball game with 43 yards. So he actually lost yards. We saw this before years ago, T.J. Lucianzada. We saw this with Chad Johnson. That has been the Bengals culture for such a long time. And a coach told me a long, long time ago, learn how to handle success. And that has been an issue for certain teams that are not used to being successful consistently and doing it on a big-time stage. They come back and lose the ball game. Now, if he wanted to do that at the end of the game, that's something that I wouldn't do. That's something that the Steelers team that I was on wouldn't do. But if you want to do that when the game is finalized, okay, cool. But you do that mid-game, and guess what? It came back to haunt them, and they lost once again. So it doesn't make any sense, and that's why, Marvin Lewis has been under fire so much because the lack of discipline, the lack of leadership this team has. There's no real reason in the world for this team to be down as bad as they are currently with the roster they have, but they lack leadership.